How's it going, guys? Eric here, aka The Rican. I recently posted the first and only video on YouTube that shows you how to solve the ultimate ice staff puzzle without guessing, and now I have the first and only video on YouTube that shows you how to solve the ultimate wind staff puzzle without guessing. To solve this puzzle, you will first need to understand how the base 4 number system works. Click here to watch my ultimate ice staff video where I explain how the different base systems work. The concept behind this puzzle is very simple, but the solution is actually pretty difficult. From my experience so far, it seems as though the puzzle never changes, but I'm going to explain how to solve it in detail just in case Treyarch decides to push out an update that changes the solution. First, let's look at the 4 pillars around the platform that have symbols on them. The first 2 are shown here. These symbols represent base 4 numbers. A single triangle represents a 0, a single triangle with 1 line represents a 1, 2 triangles connected by 2 lines represents a 2, and 3 triangles connected by 3 lines represents a 3. Looking at the pillar to the right, we have the base 4 number 123. To convert this to decimal, you break it up into 1 times 4 times 4 again, plus 2 times 4, plus 3 times 1. This gives you the decimal number 27. Again, if that math doesn't make sense to you, then go back and check out the ice staff video where I explain why the math works that way. If you still didn't understand it after watching the other video, then post a comment below and I'll do my best to clarify the math for you. Moving on to the second pillar, we see the base 4 number 30. To convert this to decimal, you break it up into 3 times 4 plus 0 times 1, which gives you the decimal number 12. If you keep turning, you'll see 2 more pillars with numbers on them. The one to the right is the base 4 number 31. That gives us 3 times 4 plus 1 times 1, which is the decimal number 13. Lastly, we have the base 4 number 122. In decimal, this is 1 times 4 times 4 plus 2 times 4 plus 2 times 1, which gives us 26. Now that we have these numbers figured out, look up at the rings on the ceiling. Notice how each row of the symbols points to one of the pillars with a number on it. Here's the hard part. You'll have to convert each of the symbols from base 4 to decimal. To do this, look at the symbols so that the outside edge of the ring is at the top of the numbers. Otherwise, you will be trying to convert the numbers upside down, which will give you entirely wrong numbers. For example, this symbol would be 13 in base 4, this other symbol would be 23 in base 4, this symbol would be 21 in base 4, and that symbol would be 12 in base 4. Once you've converted them to decimal, you need to arrange the rings so that each row adds up to the same number that's on the pillar that it points to. Unfortunately, each pillar has 4 different ring combinations, but only one combination will get all 4 pillars to match. The fastest way to solve this is to run through all the combinations for the pillar with the decimal number 12 on it, since the math will be the easiest for that one. However, if you only have about 6 to 8 shots left in your wind staff, and you don't want to wait for another max ammo to finish running through the combinations, then you'll have to write out a chart. The chart is actually pretty simple. I'll show you how I made mine. Here are all the base 4 numbers converted to decimal. This will be different for you depending on how many times you've already shot the rings, but by now you should know how to convert these yourself so you can write up your own chart. Notice how each ring starts with 0, then counts upward from there. You can see this better if I show the numbers in rows like this instead. The top row is the innermost ring, the second row is the second ring out, the third row is the third ring out, and the fourth row is the fourth ring out from the center. Once you've drawn a chart that looks like this, it will be easier to figure out which combinations add up to the numbers shown on the pillars. Remember that the numbers on the pillars were 26, 27, 12, and 13. Now the only thing left to do is figure out which way to position the rings so that each column adds up to the number that is at the bottom of that column. We'll start by solving for the column that needs to add up to 12, since the math for that one will be the easiest. Right off, we see that one combination that would add up to 12 would be by setting the outermost ring so that the number 12 lines up with the pillar that has the number 12 on it, then having the rest of the rows set to 0. When we rearrange the rings and add the rest of the columns, we find out that this combination doesn't work because none of the other columns add up to the correct values. So let's try another order. This time, let's use 9 on the inner ring, 0 on the next ring out, 3 on the third ring out, and 0 on the last ring. Bingo! All the numbers add up to the number that is at the bottom of each column. So now all we have to do is arrange the rings so that the numbers 9, 0, 3, and 0 all point toward the pillar with the number 12 on it. When you do this, you will hear the familiar sound and see the rings rotate and push up into the ceiling like this.
a puzzle. How did you know what to do?
Here is the completed puzzle for the pillar that has the number 12 on it. If you convert the symbols, then you will see that 9 plus 0 plus 3 plus 0 equals 12. I'll let you do the math out for the rest of them. Here is the completed puzzle for the pillar with 13 on it. Now the pillar with 26 on it. And finally the pillar with 27 on it. The rest of the steps are super easy. Leave the crazy place, then find and shoot 3 small smokestacks with the wind staff. One will be by Stamina, another by Juggernaut, and the last one behind the church. You can hit these from other spots on the map, but it will only work if you shoot them towards the Pack-a-Punch machine. Once you hear the familiar sound, run beneath the Pack-a-Punch and arrange the rings so that they are all yellow by hitting these 4 switches. Each ring has its own switch, so there's no puzzle here. Just keep hitting one till that ring turns yellow, then go to the next. Now, shoot the yellow orb with the wind staff until it starts glowing and shoots up through the ceiling like this. And if you were wondering, you can shoot the yellow orb before you rotate the rings to yellow. These 2 steps can be done in any order. Unfortunately, I don't have the footage for the last step of the ultimate wind staff, but it's the same with all 4 staffs, so I'll show you with the ice staff. Once the orb goes through the ceiling, that's your cue to run back to the crazy place. Put your wind staff on the podium by running over to it and pressing X, then kill a bunch of zombies around it until the staff becomes highlighted in red in the upper left corner of your screen like so. Now grab the ultimate wind staff and make some tornadoes. Special thanks to Undying Wrath, Shadows X King, and Salvatrucho for life. These guys were awesome and super patient with me as it took me about 40 minutes to an hour to solve this puzzle in-game. I hope you guys found this helpful. If so, help me out and hit the like button. I know it's pretty hard to understand at first, so please comment below if you guys have any questions. And don't forget to subscribe to see how to solve both the ultimate fire and electric staff puzzles without guessing or using cheat sheets. Again, this is Eric, aka The Rican, and I'll see you guys in my ultimate fire staff video.
Please keep going. The journey is near its end.